Welcome to the Nocturnal. My name is
Thank you.
Alex
Glad to be
Garcia.
here.
It is so great to have you. I
love it.
loved your season on the episodes that they sent me from Netflix.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad you got them. Cool.
It was very refreshing, I have to say, and I do have a couple of questions. Okay, so first,
here we go.
I want to start with.
Here we go already. Come on, let's go.
Yes. So I want to start with first, how is your wife doing? Because I know she was supposed to join us and she didn't. Right. So how is she doing first and foremost?
She is still in the fight. She's still in the battle against stage 4 colon cancer. It moved from the colon to her lymph nodes. Okay. And we are trying to figure out what works. The thing about cancer, and you guys will see this in season 1 of Country Ever After, there's ups and downs. Mm-hmm. So one quarter, your tumor markers will be down and you're positive, and the next quarter, your tumor markers are up, or you're short of breath. There's different variations that go along with it. And so it literally is a journey in beating cancer. And so right now and some people go chemo, some people go radiation, some people go natural, some people go holistic, which aren't the same. It's 2 different things. So you have to figure out what works best for your body and the season of where you're living. So we're kind of in a transition between immunotherapy, natural, and trying to do the best for what's going to let her body flourish and beat this thing ultimately. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll definitely be praying for her. That is for sure.
Thank you. We need it. Thank you.
Yes. And so, okay. So with watching the season and the episodes, I realized and I saw that you're an independent artist. Are you still independent?
Still independent. 100%. We own it. It all comes to us. And even now I've been teaching artists how to do what I've done because we're in a new market. It's a new world. Technology is for us, and we can use it to work for us. The difference is the artist mindset has to change from, I want somebody to handle everything for me, to let me make sure I know what my career is doing and how I can capitalize monetarily on all those different avenues. There's a lot of streams of income in music right now. So yeah.
Absolutely, because that was actually surprising for me. It was like, wow, this is an independent artist, not signed to a major record label, but still got a show on Netflix. What was the process in getting your own show on Netflix? Because I would think that is not easy for independent artists.
No.
How was that process? Like, why Netflix even?
Okay, so I had a video go viral. I was laying in the bed with my little one, my last one. Everly Rose was just born, the bald one. And she got her hair from her daddy. Okay, okay. So I'm laying down, Everly Rose is here, my wife is in the bed. So I said, honey, what does Y-E-S spell? She said, yes. I said, what does Y-E-S spell? She said, E-S. So I pull out my phone. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get you. I said, babe, what does Y-E-S spell? She said, yes. I said, what does Y-E-S spell? She said, E-S. I said, oh, thank God you're pretty. Babe, I keep doing this for 5 minutes. It spells eyes, right? So she keeps saying E-S. I posted it on my Facebook page. We had 68,000 comments, 57 million views. And in the middle of that video, I said, bravo, EUSA, call us. We need our own show. We're crazy like this all the time. All of them called.
Really? Wow.
Bravo set up a meeting with us and Evolution. Evolution created 2 little small shows, Orange County Housewives and Housewives of Atlanta. Come to find out, they were 2 blocks from our house in Burbank.
Wow.
We went over there, met with them probably 3 days later. Alex Baskin, the genius behind the camera of all those shows, he talks like that. He goes, Mr. Anderson, I would love to make a show that my mother could watch. And I said, you have a good mama? And he goes, yeah. I said, I had a good mama before she went to heaven too soon. I said, listen, I'm not going to throw wine bottles across my kitchen and argue on TV. But if you want a couple that's going to fight for each other and not with each other, you got the right one. I said, on Good Mamas. And he said, on Good Mamas. Wow. And we did 12 episodes. Mm-hmm. The genius and trendsetter in Roma Downey, who was on Touched by an Angel for years. Mm-hmm. I mean, she was walking with angels on TV when it wasn't cool, when it wasn't popular. And she blazed that trail for people to be outspoken about their faith no matter what religion. And she married a guy that makes a few small shows, and Mark Burnett, Shark Tank, Survivor, The Voice, all these shows, and they believed in it. And Netflix said yes. And what's crazy is in the middle of the cuties uproar and all this stuff that's going on and COVID, for Netflix to say, we like them, he's nuts, she's pretty, and those kids are cute, we're in. So thank you to Netflix. Thank you to Mark Burnett and Lightworkers. And thank you to my fans for sharing the video and making it go viral. So it's a lot of moving parts that go into it. My music is what keeps the wolves away from the door. And I've been so blessed to make an extreme living playing guitar and singing, but also thank God that we're healthy enough to make more memories. And the world gets to see that on November 6th in Country Ever After.
Yes, which is so exciting. And so with hopefully that when it does officially come out on Netflix, everybody watches it and they love it. Do you guys know if you would get approved for a second season, or is that still like up in the works right now?
Listen, we need everybody to go on Netflix right now and hit remind me. It's a little bell. It's a little bell on your this is a guitar case. This ain't even a bell. This in your mind, this is a bell. So you're gonna go and hit remind me on Netflix for Country Ever After, because what people don't realize is I had a friend of mine that was on her Facebook, and she's like, my Facebook feed is just, it's so much visual trauma with everything negative going on. And I said, well, what are you commenting on? What are you hitting like on? The algorithm for Netflix and Facebook and YouTube is undefeated. If you want to keep seeing, like you said, this show is a breath of fresh air. If you want to keep seeing shows like Country Ever After, hit the thumbs up. Yep. That tells Hollywood, it tells the producers, it tells the algorithm, oh, there's an audience for this.
Exactly.
And it works. So when you see Fixer Upper, Duck Dynasty, funny shows, Country Ever After, like ours, Country Ever After, hit the like button and they buy more shows like this. And then all of a sudden your feed starts to get cleaned up.
Mm-hmm. And maybe you start seeing more positive stuff on your feed. It all depends on that algorithm and what you're watching and what you're liking.
Right. And it's easier. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I completely agree with you on that 100%. Right. And with your family dynamic and also showcasing your hustle on the show, why even get into singing? What drew you to singing in the first place? Because I've seen on the episodes where you're making these custom songs for fans. I even saw you do a custom song for a guy proposing to his girlfriend. Why do this for your fans? Because many artists don't do that.
At some point, artists got lazy and wanted everything to be done for them. And I come from the school of small business. And when you call our office, what I say is how can I help? When is your event? How can I help? How do you see me helping? Yeah. And that's the difference. That's what's given me repeat customers. That's what's given us 100 booking requests a month. That's what sold 700,000 downloads and 52,000 downloads last month alone, independently, is because when did we stop saying, oh, I need asparagus tacos and vegetarian water? Like these artists, like really get a guitar and make people smile. And guess what? It builds a business that way.
Absolutely. You got to do the work.
Do the work, baby.
And what I like about your hustle too is that you're in control as an independent artist, and relying on these streaming services and on the internet, on your fans, right. You can be in charge of what you put out there. The content, the songs, the music, the lyrics. So my question is, do you want to stay independent, or it's something where now with this Netflix show, depending on the success of it, would you want to sign on to a major record label?
Now, it depends on what you sign for. So let me give you a little business acumen when you own your own. Mm-hmm. When you own your own music, what you can do instead of signing a record deal and they have all of it and take control of all of it, you sign a licensing deal. It's no different than a television show. You license it out for other networks to start using it, okay? It's like syndication. So if I want to do a licensing deal where we do a 80-20 split, where they can put my song on radio and I give them 20% of what I make and they help me make 80, licensing. See, ownership gives you a different perspective. See, we're in the same building, but I'm looking at it from a penthouse view when other artists are still on the first floor trying to get on the elevator. No, so if we can encourage more artists to get in the elevator, then they win. Ownership.
That's smart. Very, very smart. And now your wife is a hip hop dancer.
Big time. Unbelievable.
Of what you're doing. Total
Big time.
But I have to say, she knows how to dance. I'm like, holy crap.
Oh no, she's one of the best on the planet. Don't get it twisted, braided, don't get it cornrowed, none of that. And what's crazy is she's white dancing in hip hop. I'm black doing country music. You can't make this up.
I know. I can't lie. Like when I first researched you guys, I was like, wow, this is a mix. This is very different. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
No. Okay, so let me give you an example. One of our first dates, She's like, hey, I'm working at the Ventura Theater. I want you to come. I'm dancing. I'm like, okay, cool. So I drive up north an hour and 20 minutes. I see Snoop t-shirts everywhere. And I'm like, so she's like, oh, knock on the side door. So I knock on the side door, and they got a guy that's 7'4", 400 pounds. And his whole job was if somebody tried to come, he would get inside the door and block the whole door so people can get in or out. His job was to be the doorstop.
Uh-huh.
I knock on the door and I'm like, is Priscilla here? And he's like, nobody here by that name. Get out of here. And I was like, oh, okay, wait. She told me this. This was the, and he goes, get out of here. And I said, all right, I'm going to text her and I'm going to tell her you won't let me in. He's like, oh, I'm just playing with you. Snow White's in the back. So her name was Snow White, dancing with Snoop. I go in, they're like, hey man, 5 hugs, and they set the whole place off. And I'm in there with a cowboy hat, and Snoop's like, hey man, hey, I like your cowboy. I like that cowboy style there. And I was like, I appreciate it. You know, and
I was like, did you walk in with your cowboy hat?
Listen, everywhere I go is Texas. Okay?
I've never been to Texas, but I'm dying to go.
You gotta come. You're gonna gain 5 pounds as soon as you get off the plane. They got too much food.
I love it. I love it. And so I could imagine that filming her colon cancer and really being open on the show was probably difficult. How was that filming for like your kids, for your wife, just for you guys in general? Was it easy being an open book?
I gotta say, the first 2 days we were filming, she had a really bad reaction to chemo. Okay. And I threw all of them out. Y'all gotta go. You know, and she's cramping, she's nauseous, and it was not a good scene. And everybody, and the camera crew was out in 2 minutes. Quietly, they closed the door behind them. They were very respectful. And, you know, she went in between waking up and sleeping. She leaned over and she said, they have to document it. People have to see the real. Yeah. And I was like, you know, as a husband, I protect, I provide, and I preach. It's my job, always. And so I wanted to protect, and then I think hearing that was, this is our test, and so we need a testimony. So you'll see that in the show. Country Ever After, you will laugh, you will cry, you will boo-hoo cry. And then you also are going to pull for us. And you're also going to see yourself in our family. So yeah, thank you so much for having me on today. This is so cool.
No, yeah, absolutely. Because as a Christian myself, it is not very common now to find other Christian families or, you know, anything. And as a cancer survivor myself, I personally had thyroid cancer. Wow. And so I know what that is of like going through the radiation, going through that treatment. I mean, not been as strong as your wife's, but it was definitely something that I kind of saw myself in, and the faith, that unrelenting faith that my family had and that my mom had. And so that was my next question, is that where do you get this cosmic faith as a Christian man? Was it something that you always grew up with, or was it something that it grew in time?
You know, when your back is against the wall, what else do you have? And to be honest with you, the example was set by my parents. And I think kids don't do what you say, they do what you do. And my mother lost her battle with cancer when I was 17 days before my 11th birthday. And I saw my dad go to work, come home, and she would be so weak, he'd have to pick her up and put her in the bathtub. And I remember seeing she'd be sitting and her head would be kind of doubled over. He'd just be washing her back. And then, so I've seen it before, and I know what it takes as a spouse, as a husband, as a lover, as a partner in this. And so the example that my old man said, who you'll see on the show, that's Paul. You'll see him.
I love him.
Paul set it off. Don't get it twisted. He is crazy. He's crazier. He was crazy when I was growing up than what he is on the show. People are like, is he like that all the time? Stop.
He's very straightforward. Like so old school. And I like it in a way, you know, because it's like, hey, rather than tell you the truth than lie to your face.
He's refreshing. Yes. You don't have that no more. No. It's a different generation. He gonna tell you whether you like it or not.
Because now everybody will get offended. So for him to just give it to you like how it is, hey, I'd rather have the truth than you lie to my face.
And that's refreshing. And that's what people don't realize is be honest.
Yes.
Be who you are no matter where you are. And that's who we are. So Yeah, it's one of those things, man. I learned it from watching him. So I know that when she's fighting, I'm not gonna get a lot of sleep. I'm gonna have to do double duty,
Mhm.
and I have to help her with her treatments and help get babies ready and go make money.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you got to get your mind right. And when you say for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, you better mean it.
Yeah, you better mean it.
You better mean it.
Absolutely. And I've also saw on Instagram recently that your wife was seeking treatment in Spain. And
Right.
how,
Dr. Helu.
yes, how is that going? Like, what more can you say about that? Because that's actually kind of new to me.
It was actually phenomenal, by the way. She went completely vegan and went there. The difference is the processes in which we have our food in the United States and what they have there are very different.
Very.
Everyone that was overweight on the beach in Marbella, Spain, was from the United States
Yep.
because of the toxins and the phytochemicals and everything else that we have in our food.
And the portion size that we have here is way different from Europe.
Right. So I went to be with her 7 days. I lost 8 pounds in 7 days and 2 inches off my waist.
Wow.
And it was bread, olives, olive oil, food, cheese.
Seafood.
The processes said it different. But also there's things that they can do there medically that we can't do here.
Okay.
So she was able to do electro shock therapy. So they take a coil and put it on her colon and it just sends pulses through her body. She was able to do ozone therapy. She was able to do so many different hyperthermia. So in order to clean out the lymph nodes, they put your body in a fever. So they heated up her body to 104. And so she was able to sweat, but they're giving her fresh alkaline water. So as she's sweating out and cleansing her lymph nodes and her body and her pores and her skin, they don't do that here. So we felt like in order for us to get results that were not typical, we had to go and do what wasn't typical here. And a friend of ours started a GoFundMe page at that time, and people just gravitated towards her story, to our family, and they donated enough for her to go to Spain. We had someone else that was a fan of mine buy tickets for her to catch a flight and go. We had someone that follows her and her cancer story that lived 10 miles away from the treatment center that said, stay in my apartment.
Wow.
Provision.
Provision. Definitely.
Would that not make your faith go cosmic?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Right.
You know,
Bigger than us.
it's that faith.
Bigger than us.
And lastly, I want to talk about your kids because I loved your relationship, you and your wife's relationship with your children.
Right.
I feel like it's very unmatched, especially like of what we see right now in reality television.
Right.
A lot of parents that their kids do whatever they want, and you see so many headlines of what these artists give to their children. It's like kind of crazy. And so I love the fact that when your son wanted an Xbox, you said, all right, you want it, you got to work for it. And I like that attitude. And I wanted to know, why was that important for you to instill that in your son? Was it something that you kind of grew up on or your wife did? Because not many parents do it right now.
Yeah, a lot of parents now, they give their kids what they didn't have because they're looking for something that they never got.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted the Air Maxes, the light gray to white with the green bottoms. I want the Nike Air Maxes when I was in school. Oh yeah, and I felt like it was gonna make me fast. Nothing made me fast. So I went and I worked fence lines. So fence, I'll just give you an idea. So when you're driving and you see fences that are sideways or they have crabgrass growing over them, someone has to go in and kill that grass, get it out of the way, and clean that fence and reset it so the animals don't get out. You want to protect your product. So I cleaned fence line for $8 an hour for a whole summer in order to get those shoes. And when I got them, I didn't want nobody to touch them. I didn't want dirt to touch them. I didn't want rain to hit them. I put them in a baby diaper when I slept at night. Wasn't nothing gonna mess up the hard work I had on these shoes. And it taught me that if I wanted to get something, if I wanted to have something, I had to go get it.
Absolutely.
And Ethan is the same way. He looks at my business, all my kids. Well, they come to shows at me, they're behind the merch. They're like, CDs are 1 for 15 or 2 for 20. T-shirts are 29, and they're helping sell, and they're doing the whole nine. That's who we are. Mm-hmm. There's two types of people. There's producers and there's consumers. I'm raising producers. In the capitalistic system of the United States, we have a great opportunity to make a great income by teaching our children how to sell, how to serve people. And in that, I was like, okay, you want it? We can do a lemonade stand. We can do a bubble gum machine. What you want to do?
Yeah.
What do you have in your hands? We had the lemon tree. So many times people want to find something else and wait on something. What do you have in your hands? When the feeding of the 5,000 came after John the Baptist was killed, Jesus went to the desert. 5,000 people followed him. The disciples said, we got to feed these people. Jesus said, what do you have in your hands? And I want us to realize we can do so much with so little if we realize what we have. And that's what I want to teach Ethan. And they were there for that episode. And so, very cool. Very cool moment.
I love it. Thank you so much for this interview. I mean, it is such a pleasure to speak to you. Very refreshing. I don't even know what other words to choose by now, but just the dynamic, the faith is just so relatable to mine and my family. So thank you so much.
Well, good. And thank you for promoting Country Ever After. And thank you for watching the episodes.
Yes.
Share them. And we're rooting for a season 2. So
yes, we are. Just going to tell you that. Like, good luck. Fingers crossed.
I got to get my Anderson fixed. Let them know. Anyway, God bless you. Thank you so much, Nocturnal.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.